we just have been sort of increasingly surprised over the last 5 to 10 years over the kinds of magnitudes and impact of some of the extremes we've seen.
Increasingly, people are feeling the implications. They're feeling these weather events. We had a massive flood in 2019 in March, as well as summertime flooding later that year. We've had drought events. We went from the third wettest year in 2019 to the 15th driest year in 2020. And a lot of Nebraska is still in drought.
We are seeing a wider range of extremes. The ceiling is rising on how intense many of these kinds of events can become.
The climate of fire is changing. The climate of floods is changing. The climate of heat waves is changing. I can't necessarily say that the snow outside today is due to climate change, but I can say that there's less snow than there used to be, and that's climate change, right?
We still continue to live in these vulnerable areas to a whole variety of climate extremes. In a lot of places, we knew the vulnerabilities were there, but now they're becoming more extreme or more frequent than they were. And in some cases, that leads to them happening in places that they hadn't happened yet, or they're happening more severely than they happened before.
In areas that are relatively wet, like Michigan, we expect to see both an increase in the amount of rainfall and an increase in the amount of rainfall that comes in strong storms, an increase in the frequency of strong storms, and an increase in the intensity of strong storms. So it's kind of like it never rains, but it pours. That's sort of what we're looking at increasingly in Michigan.
The infrastructure that is currently in place, if it was built for a past climate, then it will not be resilient to the extreme events that we are seeing and will only increase in the future.
With respect to infrastructure, we need to think about infrastructure that is climate resilient and that is built to handle larger volumes of water coming all at one time.